This is a very rare tree. It's called a hanging brick block tree, and you don't see them around very much. Um, I guess these people are just waiting for the brick block to ripen so they can pick it. Very unusual. You don't see these kinds of trees very often. I've been sitting here for a long time trying to figure out what Grandpa said. Grandpa said, take this teapot, make a cup of tea. You don't need a cup. What? You don't need a cup? How the hell am I going to drink it if I don't have a cup? Well, that's what he said. He said you don't need a cup. All you need is this teapot. Well, I could drink it right out of the teapot. No, no, no. You take it, you figure it out. Let me know when you figure it out. Well, that was about 3 or 4 days ago. I just left it here, sitting here thinking. And when I woke up this morning, it dawned on me that the only way that I wouldn't need a cup is if the cup was part of the teapot. Oh yeah. Dump the tea in. Enjoy. That's what it is. What's the matter, Grumpy? You having a problem? Grumpy's my cat. His real name is Wally, but there it is. The teapot where you don't need a cup. Only Grandpa could come up with something like this. Almost every one of these ports on these cylinder heads has this line right here. It's a sand casting line, a mark. It's in every port. Just part of the stuff that needs to be cleaned up when you're cleaning up ports. But first thing you get rid of is that sand mark right there. Just a casting mark, but it should go. It doesn't have any business being in there. Every port's got it, intake and exhaust, and there's other places there where if you see any marks like that, not necessarily linear, maybe circular or anything like that, just don't go hog wild, but just get it out of there, make it smooth. And I'm examining these heads, trying to get a feel for what's going to have to happen. But you got to port match it, and not go hog wild. Just a few things, a little here, a little that, little this, little that, and going to put 202. Well, they came. These sets, they're Vortec heads, and they came with 155s for the exhaust, and I'm going to keep those. But I'm going to open up the intake to 202, and then we'll have to get into the throat. Open that just maybe 1%, but we'll get into all that later. Just looking down the road, seeing what's got to be done, because now we got to supply a breathing apparatus for this motor coming from the shop. So we'll forge forward. Another thing about these heads is that these Vortec heads, they don't have ductile iron seats, so that complicates having a solid lift cam. And they have powdered metal seats, and I'm not much for them, so I'm going to have them changed and see if we can't get a better companionship between the valve and the valve seat. It should work out pretty good. We'll have to wait and see. We'll be able to tell, but they should end up breathing pretty good. We do everything we got planned to do to them. If the money holds out. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, ductile iron seats. That's what's going to be going in these. The last thing on these cylinder heads is the valves. There's many issues on cylinder heads. You got a lot of moving parts. It's important that you get into them all, but you just got to take it slow and do one thing at a time. But these valves, I don't know. You know, they're box store Vortex heads. You know what I mean? So you just got to assume they got Chinese parts in them. I don't know if they do or not. But, you know, what are you going to do? There's no back cut on the valve. It's a 3-angle valve job. Probably going to want to explore a 5-angle valve job. And I want a back cut on the valves. And they're supposed to be stainless steel, swirl polished. But, you know, I just don't know about the valves. So, we're going to price out new ones, see what we got. I don't know, a lot of figuring to do. Take pencil to paper and figure out. I think I mentioned before that you're probably going to end up, to fix a set of box store heads, you're probably going to end up spending more than what you paid for the heads. Right now, they're kind of expensive. Back a little while ago, they had a Christmas special. I don't know if you guys remember this, but around Christmas time, Summit, this is before, let's just put it this way. This is before they put Denso on their Pro Stock car. You know, remember before he had the Rick Hendricks sponsorship? It was Denso for 1 year. And it seems like after that point, Summit really changed. And before that point, they used to have this Christmas special where if you bought a top-end assembly, a top-end kit they called it, you know, it came with cam, cylinder heads, intake manifold, the whole 9 yards, and they threw in an Edelbrock carburetor for free. And I think that's where these ones came from. And that's how I bought them. That's how I acquired them. So, you know, going through them, trying to figure out what the best thing to do is. And, you know, A, it's going to cost you money. And B, you're probably not going to be satisfied with what you got. You're probably going to take it down to the bare castings and start all over. You know, with new seats, new valves, springs, the whole 9 yards. Not that any of it is junk. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, do I want it in my motor? If there's a problem, who am I going to blame? And when you suspect that you are getting Chinese stuff, you have to only blame yourself because you ran it. So, you know, it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma I think a lot of people find themselves in. So, I'm just going to follow my instincts. It's going to be expensive, but I'm going to do what I can do, and then I'll report.